All right. Gosh dang it. Palumbo is an idiot. Palumbo versus technology. Could not get the microphone turned on in the last stream, so I've started over. The mic should be turned on, and we should be ready to rock and roll here. Unfortunately, you guys got to bear with me as I struggle through some issues here. But, anyways, I was starting to say in the last stream, I was an idiot and I was stuck watching the Baltimore Ravens game, watching Russell Wilson beat Baltimore, and I lost track of time and I didn't realize Broncos game had started. So by the time I flipped over to the Broncos game, they were already up 7-0. I don't know how the Broncos scored their first 7 points, so if you don't mind catching me up, that'd be awesome. Send in a text or a tweet, catch me up to speed. That'd be great. Gosh dang it! Is this thing? Anyways, this is a huge game for the Broncos, man. Broncos have got to win this sucker if they want to stay in the playoffs. These two teams, statistically speaking, are nearly identical. They have got the number five, they're like reverse doppelgangers. They've got the number five offense for the Atlanta Falcons versus the number five defense of the Denver Broncos. You've got the number 24 offense of the Denver Broncos going up against number 24 defense in the Atlanta Falcons. Statistically speaking, there is not an advantage for either one of these two teams in this game. And Vegas would agree with that. But the Broncos are -2.5. When you are playing at home, generally speaking, you get 3 points just for being the home team. So Vegas is not buying the Denver Broncos as being huge favorites in this game. They've got it as a literal coin flip. And I tend to agree with them. Huge game for the Broncos, though. If they want to make the playoffs, they have got to find a way to win this game. I'll break it down in further detail a little bit later why this game is just so important for him. But the road gets really, really difficult if they don't win this game. So huge game for the Broncos here. Nate Adkins caught the first opening touchdown, huh? All right. Bijan Robinson's a freak. Broncos got to find a way to contain that dude today. Everything runs through Bijan for Atlanta. They've got a really strong passing game. Kirk Cousins is number 2 in the NFL in total passing yards. But the reason why they're so effective is because of the ground game. The Falcons are very, very good at replicating everything they do in the run game and the pass game. It mirrors so well. So really, really important that the Broncos find a way to box in Bijan Robinson in this game. All right. All right. Nice little sack right there. Second and 17. Got him backed up. Not an ideal situation. Was that DJ? Who got that sack? Was that DJ? The road to the playoffs, it's really, really tough. The Broncos need to win 5 more games if they want to make the playoffs, right? And if you want to look ahead here a little bit at the Broncos' schedule, this game is so vital because it gets tough in the back stretch. Look, you've got a handful of games that are very winnable. You've got the Raiders, you've got the Browns, you've got the Colts all coming up. So that next 3 game stretch is pretty friendly to the Denver Broncos. But then you got to find a way to win a couple games, either in the Chargers, the Bengals, or the Chiefs. If you don't win this game against the Falcons, that means you would have to win 3 straight against the Raiders, the Browns, the Colts. And then you got to find 2 more wins between your final 3 games and the Chargers, the Bengals, and the Chiefs. And that is a really tough ask. Really, really tough ask. So that is why I have coined this game as a must-win game for the Broncos. All right. Marvin Mims, our Pro Bowl return specialist, decides to run backwards 15 yards. Somehow, the Falcons do not make him pay for it, which is fortunate for the Broncos. I lost my audio there for a minute. I thought I lost you guys. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Mount Columbus Speaks is the podcast. You can find it anywhere you view such things, on Spotify, on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want to look, you can find it. I'm putting out lots of cool content, man. If you want to check out my YouTube, the link is in my bio. I'm doing all 22 after the game, so the all 22s come out on Tuesdays. So this game, you can get the coach's film and my breakdown on Tuesday. Do player breakdowns, scouting reports. We'll do a post game today. Always putting out great content over there. How about them Buffaloes, baby? How about them Buffaloes? I went to the game, early morning start, 10 a.m. The Buffs cannot get a regular timed game. It's either 8 p.m. or 10 a.m. The final home game against Oklahoma State is going to be another 10 a.m. start. The energy was a little bit light in the building at the beginning because college kids are still drunk from the night before. But they got a great win against Utah, and they did not play very well. Buss did not play good football. Shedeur throws a interception on his first pass of the game, but they end up blowing out Utah. The score looks like a blowout. In reality, it was a much closer game than it looked. But they got everything right where they want them, man. 2 more games to go, and you're looking at a Big 12 championship appearance. You win that sucker, we're talking about the playoffs in year 2. What up? What up, Evan? Appreciate you watching on YouTube. Beautiful day out here in Colorado for a football game, huh? All right, so let's talk about this game here a little bit. Kirk Cousins, at this point of the season, I believe he was last week for sure. I don't know where it is as of today. But as of last week, Kirk had the second most passing yards in the NFL. He's got 17 touchdowns on the season and 8 interceptions. So he's dealing. He is dealing touchdowns, but he's also throwing interceptions at a little higher rate than you would want to see. Your 2-to-1 ratio is pretty good for a young quarterback. Like if Bo Nix were to end the season with a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, that would be really good for a young QB. For a veteran quarterback like Kirk Cousins, that's a little bit too much. So just like Patrick Mahomes has been tossing out interceptions all year long, Kirk has been doing the same thing. And it would be nice if this Broncos defense could get him to cough up 1 or 2. Good protection from Bo there. Be fascinating to see how many carries Javonte Williams ends up when this game's all said and done. You know, last week they went to Audric Estime and Javonte got 1 carry. I think Jaleel only got 1 carry as well. They said they're going to write the hot hand, so in all likelihood, that means Audric Estime is probably going to get at least 3-to-1 in terms of carries between him and Javonte, if I had to guess. I like Audric Estime if he holds on to the football. Too many fumbles early on in his career, though. Lil Jordan Humphrey continues to be in the rotation when many Broncos fans would prefer that he is not. He is a Sean Payton guy, man. I'm telling you, when the NFL, when you get in with the coach, they will keep you around forever. Absolutely forever. And he is in with Sean Payton. Hey, I was guilty of that myself. I got in with Mike Shanahan, and everywhere I went was either with Mike or one of his disciples. Coaches get their guys, and they latch onto them. But I don't understand why the Broncos are not featured in Vele more than they are. Vele has been so tremendous for the Broncos. The dude's 26. He's a 26-year-old rookie. So he comes into the league just with a little bit more maturity. Obviously, in the long run, that's not ideal to be 26 as a rookie, but just the mindset. I mean, think about where you were at 26 versus where you were at 21. Things just slow down. You're not as intimidated by things. And you can see it. That dude came into the league ready to rock and roll, man. Cortland's been doing his deal the last few weeks, though, which is cool to see. I'm a big Cortland Sutton fan. I know a lot of people get frustrated with Cortland because they don't think he's a true number one. Well, he's our number one. He's the best wide receiver we've got. And it's really not even close. All right, what'd we get there? Looks like Bo Nix must have messed up the cadence there or something because he's patting his chest saying that's on me. Third and 10. This is when you win football games on third down, and we get it. We pick it up. Marvin Mims with a big gain. What do you know? Last week, they put Marvin Mims in the backfield. Marvin Mims actually got 2 carries. I don't know if Sean Payton needs a memo or breaking news, but Marvin Mims is not Deebo Samuels. I guess A+ for creativity, but I'm not sure how many times I want to see Marvin Mims carrying the rock out of the backfield. And right as I talk about it, they put Marvin Mims in the backfield. They're trying to force this dude. I mean, they've not been able to figure it out with him. So I guess I'll give them credit. They're trying to figure out ways to get the balls in Marvin Mims' hands. To me, putting Marvin Mims in the backfield, that's not so much about Marvin Mims being good as it's a flat out statement to the running backs. Hey, we are not happy. If you're not going to get the job done, we'll put someone else back there. We'll put a wide receiver back there if we have to. Okay. All right, that's a good looking screen right there. That was good patience. Then you overdo it with the straight up run. Like you said, he's not Deebo, but I think you could do something with him out of the backfield with free releases. Well, yeah, that's what you set it up for. But if you're going to put him up in the backfield, if you want to use him for mismatches in the passing game, you have to be able to run him. Otherwise, if you put him in the backfield, the tendencies, they'll pick up on it every single time. But you're right. You can create some mismatches, especially if you put him in motion. Nix looks pretty calm. I like it. The drive he had last week against Kansas City. Sometimes a young player, they need a drive like that just to cement it. Like you feel it. I feel like I belong. I feel like I'm one of the best in this league. And then you need a moment that you actually go out and you do it, right? So would be great if we could see Bo actually turn that into a complete game because we have not had a complete football game for Bo Nix yet. Damn, look at this. Dang! Okay, Javonte Williams. Put that man in the backfield. Keep that man as your number one running back. That's Marshawn Lynch style right there. Put the team on his back and keep going. That right there has got to be a Kyle Brandt angry run of the week. Are you kidding me? Look at this thing. First off, great hold from the offensive line. Sheds 1, sheds 2, sheds 3, sheds 4. He's got 5, he's got 6, he's got about 8 guys on him. Offensive line comes behind, does a great job of pushing the pile. That's as good of a run as you're going to see in the NFL. Hi. just running his legs, refusing to go down. All right, you're in the doghouse. They put Audric Estime in as the featured back last week. That's how you get your roll back. Yeah, that was pretty funny. He literally had his feet up in the air, and the offensive line picked him up and carried him. I can't see my text. You can just tell me. Yeah. All right. Broncos are rolling. Bijan Robinson's having a hell of a year, man. He's got 748 yards. Is that right? Goodness, that is a lot. He's already got 748 yards, averaging 4.8 per carry. He's also got 41 receptions out of the backfield with 6 touchdowns. Looks like Bijan is materializing. And then Kyle Pitts, their tight end that was drafted very high in the first round. If you draft a tight end in the first round, you borderline better have a Hall of Fame type of career because you don't draft tight ends in the first round. They're just not valued like that. So when you do get drafted in the first round, you better be that guy, right? And in the first couple of years of Kyle Pitts' career, he's been a bit underwhelming. But you look at the yardage, the catches that he's got this year, he's got 34 receptions, 485 yards. Compound that out for the rest of the season, and you're looking at a borderline 1,000-yard year. I mean, those are Travis Kelce type of numbers. To get a tight end to 1,000 yards, that's an enormous season. Fortunately, the Broncos have been doing a much better job this year of covering tight ends. Seemed like for the last decade, they could not cover tight ends, and this year they've been doing better. And the irony of that is that when Alex Singleton went down, Justin Strnad gets thrown into the lineup. Justin had not played defense for the Broncos in the last 3 years, special teams all-star, and really had been an afterthought in terms of defense. Well, he gets thrust into the starting lineup, and Justin has been phenomenal. I don't know if you guys remember when Justin was drafted out of Wake Forest, but there was a lot of hype behind him. He's kind of the Sua Cravens. What's up, Michael? Appreciate you saying hello. Appreciate you watching. He's kind of got that Sua Cravens body. I don't know if you guys remember Sua. Obviously, Sua didn't do anything for the Broncos, but he's a bit of a tweener, right? He's too small to be a full-time linebacker is what they said. He's too big to be a full-time safety, but he's got really good athleticism. Well, he's gotten thrust in the lineup this year, and he's been phenomenal. Cody Barton's been phenomenal. The entire front seven, amazing. Broncos honoring the no-fly zone today, and this secondary we got right now, this is not the no-fly zone, but they're as close as we're going to get to it. Offensive coordinator for the Falcons is a guy named Zach Robinson. Zach is a local kid here out of Colorado. He went to Chatfield High School, went to become the quarterback at Oklahoma State, dual threat running quarterback, had a great career there at Okie State, and ended up being my teammate out in Seattle. Zach's a couple years younger than me. Went out to the Rams, was coaching for Sean McVay. If you get in the Sean McVay coaching tree, that's a factory to go get promotions. So now the offensive coordinator in Atlanta, running an old school Mike Shanahan West Coast offense, but with a flair to it. If you notice, everything that Atlanta does is out of pistol. That's not ideal when you're a wide zone running team. It makes life in the running game a little bit more difficult because you're just a tick behind in the running game as a running back. But that's what we did in 2015. In 2015 with Peyton Manning, we had to find a hybrid. We had to find middle ground, right? The first few months was tough as Gary Kubiak and Peyton tried to find something that they could both be comfortable with. Peyton was so accustomed to playing out of shotgun. Kubiak always has his QBs underneath center. We end up running pistol. That was the hybrid. Well, that's what Atlanta's doing. And I would imagine that the reason they're doing it is because Kirk's mobility, after that Achilles injury will never be the same. Kirk's got to be 37, 38 years old and was never the most mobile quarterback. But coming off an injury, now they put him in pistol just to help him with that Achilles. They got a great offense, though. Number 5. Well, yeah, no crap he finds Drake London. You give him 8.5 seconds. That's unusual for the Broncos. Broncos pass rush is tremendous. That's about as weak of a pass rush as you're ever going to see from this Broncos group. Let's count this thing. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. 6 seconds to throw that football. NFL, if you get 2 seconds, that's considered good. 3 seconds is an eternity. 6 seconds, insane. Pick up the 4th and 1. Yeah, no crap. Drake London's a hell of a receiver. I don't know what his stats are screaming this year, but he's a good football player, man. Really good football player. Why the heck can't I add an image? What do you guys think about these orange uniforms? I used to despise the highlighter orange on orange that we used to wear for our color rush uniforms, but I kind of dig these. Having the blue socks or the blue leggings underneath. A bunch of guys are wearing the blue long sleeves. That looks pretty clean. I see people hating on it. I like it. I like it a lot. The only uniform combo I've not liked from the Broncos this year was the blue on orange. That was terrible. That was extremely terrible. All right. Control Kyle Pitts, control Bijan Robinson. Broncos will be all right. I think the Broncos are gonna walk away with this thing relatively easily. Anybody else go up to the Buffs game yesterday? I was nervous about what time to leave, and so I left at 7 a.m. cruised up there. Absolutely cruised. Got up there by like 8:30. Got to check out the big noon kickoff. That was pretty wild. Went to the alumni tent. Saw a bunch of my old teammates. Brought my son, his buddy. We had a great time, man. All right. I'm setting up a scoreboard for you guys because I'm fancy like that. Give me 2 more minutes and you're going to like this thing. All right. Broncos. Falcons. Younghoe Koo. He's missed a handful of field goals this year, actually. The lot said about the Broncos field goal protection. The Falcons gave up a blocked kick from their right tight end earlier this season in a very similar situation. Actually, I've not been paying attention. All right, this is A+ if anybody's caught this or not. On the Broncos PAT field goal team, has Alex Forsyth been out there as the left tight end? I have not noticed if he was or not. I've been dying on a hill that Alex Forsyth has not been as bad as everybody else thinks he is. I won't bore you guys with all the details, but if you want to get educated on that job, look, man, you are going to get your ass kicked a lot. You are going to get knocked on your ass 9 out of 10 times. The job definition is to die slowly. That's what my special teams coach told me. You're going to die. You have to die slowly. And obviously, he did not die slowly in that Kansas City game. He got smoked. But all those clips that are floating around of earlier in the season when Alex Forsyth gets knocked on his ass, I'm telling you, nobody wants to hear it. That was a dude actually successfully doing his job. But it's much easier to crush a young man because everybody needs a head to roll. I get it. I understand it. All right. Why?
I need some for the frappuccino I'm making.
Don't worry. Sounds back. Sounds back, folks. I switched my scenes and I had to add my microphone back in. Sounds back. You guys can hear me now, right? Can you hear me now? Good. Back in business. My bad, my bad. I'm proud of that scoreboard right there. You guys like that sucker? Find somebody else. Find somebody else live streaming with the scoreboard like that. I might lose to technology 9 out of 10 times, but every now and then I figure that thing out and I put up something kind of cool. All right, so you hear Bo Nix giving the kill, right? Hold on, I'll explain it after this pass. Damn, that's a dime right there. That's a dime to my man Devon Vele. I'm telling you, get this guy the rock more often. Devon Vele is a 26-year-old rookie. He is calm, he's cool, he's collected, he's a Tim Patrick clone. And that's why you were able to move on from Tim. Does it suck not having Tim Patrick on this football team? It does. But you got a younger, cheaper version of him in Devon Vele. I was just starting to tell you guys, when you hear the quarterback go up there and say kill, all right? So everybody talks about audibles in the NFL, right? And you'd be surprised how few quarterbacks in the NFL actually have the autonomy to walk up to the line of scrimmage and just call an audible to any play that they want, especially young players like Bo Nix. When you hear a kill, what that means is that in the huddle, you're calling two plays, okay? So coach is going to say, all right, Bo, here's what we got. We're going two jet, all go special, can 19 week. Whatever. I just made up two random plays. Two jet, all go special, can 19 week. All right, we get up to the line of scrimmage. If we've got, let's say, for example, we've got three linebackers in the box, well, we're going to run the first play that was called. And oftentimes you'll hear a quarterback say, hey, we're good. We're telling everybody we're running the first play. If you hear the kill, we're saying kill. All right, now, instead of having three guys in the box, we've actually got two linebackers in the box. We like our odds here, okay? We've got a light box, so we're going to run the football. Kill. We're going 19 week. So that's not necessarily, I would not define that as an audible. That's just a check at the line of scrimmage. And that's what you do with young quarterbacks a lot. Well, shoot, you do that with older quarterbacks too. But with younger quarterbacks, a lot of times you don't give them autonomy to do true audibles. Broncos win this game, they're going to the playoffs. That's my hot take. Broncos lose this game, they probably do not make the playoffs. Is it a literal must win? No, of course there are ways that they could overcome it. But I'm telling you, you do not want to have to, if you lose this game, what that means is you would have to win 2 out of 3 of your final 3 games. Your final 3 games are Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs. Now, you might get lucky and the Chiefs have got the number 1 seed locked up. Maybe they don't play their starters in the game. But you don't want to bank on that. So I will feel a whole lot better if they don't have to win 2 out of those final 3. Bo's 12 of 13. Yeah, you're right. He's dealing, man. He looks fantastic. He seems to be a little bit more comfortable in the pocket today. I know obviously he had to get out of the pocket right there. That wasn't his choice. But what I'm looking for in this game, trust what an NFL pocket looks like. It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be clean. You don't have to get out of every single pocket. Get to the depth of your drop. Okay, take 7 steps, take 5 steps, take 3 steps, whatever the play calls for. Climb the pocket. Okay, and then if you got to get out of the pocket, you can get out of the pocket later. But don't always be looking for that escape hatch. And he seems to be doing really good with that today. it's a hard thing for young athletic quarterbacks to do because obviously their default when things get ugly is to get out of there and use their feet. And Bo's got tremendous athleticism, so I'm not trying to take his athleticism away from him. I want Bo. Here's what I want. I don't want Bo going 10 carries for 75 yards. I want Bo going 5 to 6 carries for 20 to 30 yards, but give me 2 to 3 first downs along the way. Man, they keep putting Mims in the backfield. I can't remember who texted it in earlier, but they were talking about trying to get the mismatches with Mims in the passing game by putting him in the backfield. This is one of those plays that you saw Mims, if you watched him there, he does the wheel route coming out of the backfield. Yeah, you can get mismatches, but if you're going to continue to try to get that, you have to give him the ball as a running back as well. All right, let me see if I can move this chat up a little bit because that's in the way. There we go. Cam asks, what do I think about the Commanders this year? Man, they're fun to watch. Pretty amazing what happens when you get the quarterback right. And I think the Broncos got the quarterback right. So didn't come out the gates on fire the way that Jaden Daniels did. But you look at the numbers the last few weeks, and Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix have very, very similar numbers. But yeah, I'm following the Commanders closely. I actually might be going out to the Commanders game next weekend against the Cowboys. Robert Griffin hit up me and a few of the old O-linemen. He's trying to get the gang back together next weekend. So might be going out to a Commanders game. Nice little pickup there for Troy Franklin. Shakes a defender. Troy's been frustrating early on, but good to see him have a nice little play. I am surprised that the chemistry between Bo Nix and Troy Franklin has felt so bad this year. For two guys that played college football together, they just cannot get on the same page, whether it's Bo Nix overthrowing him, whether it's Troy Franklin letting a ball go through his hands like he has like 4 or 5 times already this year. They just cannot get on the same page. Man, I got to pull up the box score because this is fascinating to me. Last week, Javonte Williams gets 1 carry. And it looked like he was going to be full-on replaced by Audric Estime. This week, Javonte Williams has got 5 carries for 32 yards. Audric Estime's got 1 carry. Weird. I mean, Javonte looks great today, so I got no beef with it at all. But Audric did pretty good when he got featured. I would have thought he would be featured in this game as well. Oh, God. Mike McGlinchey just got bull rushed. Mike McGlinchey just sacked his own quarterback. That is not ideal. Mike McGlinchey just got put on his back and sacked his own quarterback. All right, let's watch this. Let's see what happens. Okay, he wraps instead of punches. He gives up his chest. Defender gets his hands on his chest. When you're going to get, this is your steering wheel, right? For both offensive linemen and defensive linemen, this is your steering wheel. You got to get your hands right on the chest. It's not holding if you get your hands on that via the neck. And Mike, instead of punching with his hands, he wraps. He wraps on the outside, gives up his chest, and I don't know who that was, number 15 for the Falcons, but just bull rushes his ass. Be nice if we could get into halftime with another score here. Denver calls their second timeout, which is good. I don't get the clock management the last few downs, just playing for the field goal. Well, you're doing what you did against the Chiefs last week. Sorry, my daughter's running a blender if that's sounding loud, but you're doing what you did against the Chiefs last week. You're trying to eat up the clock. You're trying to score at the same time. You don't want to give Kirk the ball back. Damn, you guys are ahead of me. I got all these touchdowns coming in. You're ahead of me. I haven't seen a touchdown yet. Wow, you guys are way ahead of me. Oh, Mims, quick little bubble screen. Mike McGlinchey makes up for it. Hey, good for Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey gives up the sack, but does a great job on that bubble screen. He's the lead blocker on that thing. He escapes, gets out, gets two hands on his man, gives a clear pass for Marvin Mims to run through. Touchdown, Denver Broncos. We're going to go up into halftime up 21-6. Assuming we make this PAT here. You guys let me know because, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I missed the first few minutes of this game because I was an idiot. I was watching the Baltimore game and I lost track of time. I'm assuming we started with the ball because we had 7 points on the board by the time I flipped over. But who gets the ball after halftime? I'm assuming it's the Falcons. All right, 21-6. Broncos are in cruise control. This team's figured it out, man. I'm telling you, they're figuring it out. They're not going to make any real noise if they make it to the playoffs this year, but they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be one of those teams you don't want to face. I got to give Bo Nix a lot of credit. Okay, I've been tough on him early in the season. Not tough on him, but I've just given accurate analysis of his performance. A lot of people think that I'm super critical of Bo Nix. No, I just give accurate analysis of what he's doing out there. And what I've been asking for him is it's like a stock chart, right? By the end of the season, if we're starting here, we need to end up here. But like any stock, it's going to go like this. It's going to go like this. We're riding waves, okay? We're riding waves where we're getting up here at the end of the season. Well, what we need to see now is we need to see fewer dips, okay? Fewer dips and a more steady rise. Last week against the Chiefs, you had a really good first half. You had a crap second half, quite frankly. But then you finished off the game spectacularly. You were calm, cool, collected in the most important time of the game. In the second half of the game last week, the Broncos had like 10 total yards going into that final possession. They ended up with like 57 yards in the second half, and 45 of them, give or take, came in that final drive. So now Bo Nix takes a great final drive against the Kansas City Chiefs, and he turns it into a spectacular first half against Atlanta. 15 of 17, 174 yards, and a tutty. Or he's got two of them. Hold on. Does he have two of them? Yeah, he's got two touchdowns. Excuse me. 17 of 19, 193 yards, and two touchdowns. This is as good of ball as you can get in the NFL right now. I got to tweet this out. Absolutely spectacular. I'll catch up on all these comments that are rolling in real quick. Give me a second. All right, what is he again? 17 of 19, 193. 17, 19, 193, two TDs. All right, I'll catch up on these comments here. Unfortunately, my new software I'm using, I can't put them back up once they go away. I got to figure that out. But I'll read them to you guys. All right. All right. Michael says, I think you're right. They're looking great right now. What's up, babe? Well, that looks good. What is it? If you have any extra, give me some. All right. Michael Pack says he's looking good. Everything's looking great. Chris says Bo Dylan looks like Bo's handing a ball off 12 yards downfield. We haven't had yards after catch like this in years. The yards after catch has been huge. You've had multiple players now take quick little bubble screens and turn them into 12 to 18-yard gains. Now we just had one as a touchdown. Yards after catch is what makes quarterbacks look good in the NFL. It's really not the completion percentage. Cody says Bo's settling in more and more. If Sean's offense was a lazy boy, Bo is kicking up his legs. You know what? I don't disagree, Cody. This team looks like they are settled. That's what they look like they're settled. Bo on track for 404 tutties, says Charlie. What else we got here? Michael Pack says, Tyler, you played the game. Your criticism is justified. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't even know if I'd call it criticism, as I'd just call it analysis. I'm just telling you how the dude has played. And there was a lot of games early on in the season that was just flat out bad ball. And when it's good ball, I'm not afraid to call it good ball. This is great ball. Not good ball. This is great ball from Bo Nix. Quarterback ratings through the roof. Yeah, and then got to keep the pressure up in the second half, not get complacent. I don't think they'll get complacent. This team is so hungry to blow someone out, man. They've been fighting hard all year long. They've had a lot of close games, both good and bad. I would be shocked if they took their foot off the gas pedal. That was a hell of a throw from Kirk Cousins, Drake London, but he doesn't get out of bounds. And now they get no chance at the field goal. So Broncos going to halftime up 21-6. And this is the best half ball we've had from the Broncos. Look, you had a great game against the Carolina Panthers. You have had moments. You've had good halves against other teams, but we have not had a start to finish football game. And this feels like this is going to be the first start to finish football game from the Broncos. Okay, let's catch up on a few things before I take a little halftime break here. One of the bigger surprises of the game to me is that Javonte Williams has been the featured back, and he's looked tremendous. After last week's game when Audric Estime got 25 carries or so and Javonte ended up with 1, I'm like, all right, well, Javonte's back in the doghouse. They are moving forward with the hot hand of Audric Estime. Javonte Williams has got 6 carries for 36. Audric Estime's only got 1. You've got a handful of guys with 1 carries. Jalil's got 1. Bo's got 1. Michael Burton's got 1. And Marvin Mims has got 1 for -5. In the passing game, we're being led right now by Devon Vele. My personal favorite wide receiver on this team, outside of Cortland, is Devon Vele. Devon Vele's got 3 catches for 55 yards, and he's averaging 18.3 per. Marvin Mims is having a nice little game. He's only got 2 catches, but his 2 catches, 49 yards. He just got himself a touchdown, great yards after catch. Shout out to Mike McGlinchey, who was out there leading the way for him. Cortland's having another good game. He's got 5 for 44. You've got 3 receivers right now with 40 yards or more after one half of football. Okay, we're on track for a 400-yard game in the air if this were to continue. It'll probably slow down in the second half because at some point you start playing the time of possession game and you start eating up the clock because that's what you do with the lead in the second half. But I don't think they'll do that early on. They'll come out in the second half and they'll come out flaming. Troy Franklin's got 1 catch for 8 yards, but it was a pretty solid 8 yards, believe it or not. He made one guy miss, picked up 8 yards. Good looking catch from him. And then on defense, look, you're doing what you do. Falcons have given up 6 points. You've got the number 5 offense of the Atlanta Falcons going up against the number 5 defense of the Denver Broncos. That is an even matchup. And right now, the Denver Broncos defense is winning that matchup as I expected them to do. The pass rush has not been as good as I thought it would be coming into this game, but it's been good enough. And I know they've got 1 sack already. Let's see, who got that sack for the Broncos? Was it DJ? No. Oh, it was Malcolm Roach. Malcolm Roach, number 97, big old Malcolm Roach got himself a sack in this game. And then the other matchup, so it's 5-on-5, the 5 offense versus 5 defense for the Falcons and the Broncos defense. And then you've got the 24 ranked Denver Broncos offense against the 24 ranked Atlanta Falcons defense. And both sides of the ball for the Broncos are winning their matchup, and which on paper has got no statistical advantage for either team. Fantastic half of football for the Broncos. I'm going to take a quick little break here during the halftime. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back soon. All right, I'm back. Appreciate you guys hanging with me. Got about 630 folks watching right now, and nobody went anywhere during that halftime break for me. Now's a good time, since we're in halftime, to just remind you folks that I would really, really appreciate it if you head on over to my YouTube right now and give a subscribe for me. Trying like crazy to build up my subscribers. Come here, honey. Say hi to Miss Kenzie June, my favorite child. This is my youngest. Are you my favorite? Yeah. Are you going to use your words or no? No. Anyways, appreciate you guys watching Mount Plumbus Speaks here. Oh, camera's going nuts. There we go. I calmed down. If you wouldn't mind going over to YouTube and subscribing, you'd be doing me a huge favor. You got to stop moving. You're making the camera go nuts. Let me change that setting so that stops doing that. Hold on. I can fix this. Okay.
Is this live?
Camera should not move anymore, right? Yes, it is live. Yes. Link is in my bio, and if you go over to my YouTube and check it out, we're putting out all kinds of awesome content. I'll put out the all 22 for this game on Tuesday, so we will break it down. Michael says hi. I will break it down on Tuesday from the coaches film, and believe me, you guys don't want to miss that because you'll learn a lot there. Believe me, you'll learn a lot.
Do you know Luby's at the game?
Who's at the game? Oh.
To the game after sleepover.
All right, second half is rocking and rolling. 21-6. Broncos had as good of a half as you get in the NFL. Now we'll see if Bo Nix can string together two halves of football like he did in the first half.
And who's Bo Nix?
Bo Nix is the quarterback. No, that's defense. Are you guys disappointed that I had to tell my daughter who Bo Nix is? No, he won't come out tall on offense. I'm telling you, though, Kirk Cousins is a dangerous quarterback who's capable of coming back very, very quickly. So if you're the Broncos, don't take your foot off the gas yet. This is not a big enough lead. Huge series for the Broncos to get off the field here. 3rd and 10. You got them exactly where you want them. And if you can get off the field on the first possession of the second half, thank you. And then even if you don't score points on your possession when you get the ball in offense, as long as you play the field position battle, you'll be in good shape. Hold on. Let me back this out. There we go. Now they can.
Be right back.
Okay. They're going to miss you. And you got exactly what you want. You get off the field. 3rd and 10. Kirk Cousins is good on 3rd down. The Falcons are pretty good on 3rd down. Now it's time to freaking dominate a football team. All right, Kenzie, tell the people what you see on this play. Number 19, how's he doing?
Who's number 19?
The guy with the ball. The guy with the huge return right there.
Good.
He did good?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I think it was Bo Nix. Is that?
No, Bo Nix is about to come on. You got to sit up so they can see you. Is it okay to have a favorite child? Do you guys have a favorite child?
No.
What if you're my favorite?
No. You don't
What?
You don't favor a kid.
I got 2 girls. My son's my oldest. I got 2 girls. This is my youngest. My middle girl is walking this way, but she won't get on. It's okay. You don't have to get on camera. She freaks out. She won't get on camera. He wants to know if he should add more water to his spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
You got to speak louder.
Yes.
Louder.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know why. Wouldn't you want less water in spaghetti sauce?
No, you want water.
Wouldn't you want it to be thicker?
No, you want water. Water.
What would be great in this game is if you could get up big enough going into the fourth quarter, that now you can start doing some funky things. Put some stuff on film.
You do this every February.
Yeah, I'm boring. Hold on. We've got 640 people watching right now, and you're telling them I'm boring?
Yeah. No, this is boring, not you. This.
Okay. Anyways, it'd be nice if you could get up big enough in the fourth quarter that you could start putting some weird stuff on film. You know, all you got to do is put 2 or 3 different plays out there, stuff that you know you're never going to run again, but you just want teams to spend 30 minutes of their day working on it. Yeah, see, everybody's talking about the favorite child now, Kenzie. But I tell all my kids they're my favorite. Shh. No, I didn't. I only tell you you're my favorite.
You just said it in front of camera. You don't lie. Or do you?
No. You're kind of in the way, daughter.
I can't.
All right, that's a pretty good looking stat right there. Bo, 192. Javonte Williams.
Hey, bye. I'm actually going to go.
What is the running back deal is weird, isn't it? It's hard to explain what the Broncos are doing this year with the running back room. Twice now, they have kind of benched Javonte Williams. In the Jets game, they were definitely going towards Tyler Bidet. Tyler was going to get more carries in that game. It looked like they were starting to put Javonte in the doghouse. Then Javonte comes out and he has a great game against the Jets. Puts together 1 or 2 really good games, has a couple stuttering games. And then now we've got Audric Estime last week, who did great. I have no clue. And the coaches during the week, they all said they were just going to continue to ride the hot hand, which implied that Audric Estime was going to be the featured workhorse. Something about Javonte when he's got his back against the wall, though. When he's got his back against the wall, he tends to show out. Hey, has anybody paid attention? I keep forgetting. Anybody paid attention? Has Alex Forsyth been in on field goal or not? Who's our left tight end been in field goal?
Can you open this? Damn, it's looking.
That was a good throw from Bo right there. Troutman's got to come down with that ball. Fourth and 3, interesting decision to be made. I think I'd go ahead and go for this thing. Obviously, putting points on the board is never a bad thing, but you're in rhythm. You've got a lot of confidence. And they keep the offense on the field. All right. Fourth and 3, we're going empty protection. Call timeout. Because we had 2 seconds on the play clock. I'll tell you this, that has happened way too many times this year. Far too many times we have had that play clock expiring down to 0, 1, and we're like crossing our fingers, hoping and praying that we get that ball off. A lot of things go into that. Sometimes it's on the coach who doesn't get the call in on time. Sometimes it's on the player, the quarterback who's in the huddle. Sometimes they stutter with their words. They get lost. They got to repeat the play 2 or 3 different times. And other times it's just you get to the line of scrimmage. You got to go kill. You're trying to put guys in motion. But far too many times this year, the mechanism of the play calling to the execution of it has been down to the wire. Someone says they're using Mims like Tyreek Hill. Well, I'm not quite sure he's Tyreek Hill, but I would say they're using him more like Deebo Samuel than Tyreek Hill. 4th and 3, they're bringing blitz. Pick it up. No. What? What? I immediately thought we caught that thing. I said we picked it up, and he just drops it. I mean, he had that ball in his hands. And yet again, little Jordan Humphrey with another drop. Look, we've got a bunch of wide receivers doing their deal right now. Cortland Sutton's been tremendous the last few games. Devon Vele's been tremendous. All of a sudden, Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims are starting to pick it up. And there's one guy that continues to be frustrating week after week. And it's little Jordan Humphrey. But he's Sean Payton's guy. I thought that was just a flat-out drop. It's a fumble. I mean, it doesn't matter. Either way, it was 4th down, so they were getting the ball. If anything, it's actually almost better that it was a fumble. Backed him up a little bit. I don't get it, man. Sean Payton's got a love fest for little Jordan Humphrey. Hey, how come none of you dum-dums told me that my scoreboard says we're still in the first quarter? I got to update that. 3rd quarter. And just like that, it's fixed. Look, I can barely walk and chew gum, yet alone keep score and talk into a microphone. I really don't feel like you guys are giving me enough credit for that scoreboard. Like, I am blown away by this scoreboard I've put together. I'm blown away. I'm pretty cool. Look, it really doesn't matter what happens with little Jordan Humphrey. He's not a part of the long-term future for the Broncos. Troy Franklin is. Marvin Mims might be. So when the year's all said and done, what matters more than anything is developing Troy Franklin, getting that chemistry back together. For whatever reason, it's been missing, but seems to be slightly better. Marvin Mims, you know what? I don't really love giving Marvin Mims the ball in the backfield, but I'll give him credit for this. Once the dude gets involved in the game, he seems to be a little bit better. So if nothing else, from a mental, psychological standpoint, just showing the guy he's going to be involved. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. Can I show this? Look at what my sweet little daughter's made for me. A Frappuccino, we got chocolate, we got whipped cream in it. Thank you, Lydia. Oh, that is delish. Javonte with another fantastic run. Offensive line's been really good this year. They've been great in pass protection, and they are paving holes today. Look, Javonte makes a good cut here. This is old school Mike Shanahan stuff. Wide zone right, cut back hard left. The key is to that, you have to get the linebackers to get washed. If you get the linebackers to run, you get that cutback angle. So you got to press the ball play side enough that you keep those linebackers running. If you try to cut that thing back too soon, the linebackers won't get washed, right? So that's why it's really, really important for the running back to continue to press it as long as he possibly can. QB keep from Bo Nix. We got a lead block out there from, is that Adkins? Michael says Javonte's running like his job's on the line. Yeah, he is. But what's interesting about it is that they didn't even have to. Well, I guess they did by giving Audric the carries more last week. But He's been featured. Like the plan was Javonte in this game. From the get-go, the plan was just Javonte. So apparently they liked what they saw. God, I got to pay this Michael Pack some money. He's like my secretary trying to get you guys to subscribe and like. Oh my gosh, this thing is delicious. My daughters don't ever do anything nice for me. This was. They got excited because I let them drink coffee if they made a frappuccino. Bad parent. 3rd and 8, red zone. Look at this. Devon Bailey is absolutely wide open, and Bo Nix just delivers another dart to him. I don't know why Atlanta was playing really soft on that. Really soft. You don't usually play that soft in the lower red zone. What? What about him? Okay. My dog just threw up, so I'm going to have to take a break here in a minute and go clean that up. I'll be down there after this drive. Michael Burton is the other whoopee for Sean Payton. He loves himself some Michael Burton. All right, would you guys shut up with all your touchdowns? I have not seen it. Why am I so far behind? The same play. The exact same play that they scored on right before halftime. This time, instead of throwing the bubble screen to Marvin Mims, they throw the bubble screen to Troy Franklin. Something about the way the Falcons are playing with their secondary right now. The Broncos are absolutely exposing them on these bubble screens. Again, though, watch Mike McGlinchey, watch Quinn Miners. They're going to flash. They're going to get out. Quinn Miners just blocked 2, dude. That was incredible. Watch Quinn Miners, 77. Takes on 2 guys. Mike McGlinchey didn't even have to block anybody. All right, I don't go anywhere. I got to go clean up dog throw up. Yay. Be right back. Alvin, you heard me. All right. Throw up has been cleaned. I washed my hands. Broncos are up 28-6. Where's Kirk throwing that football? All right, any comments while I was gone? Let's check in. Whole bunch of touchdowns. 10 different receivers already. Is that right? We're throwing the ball to 10 different receivers? Let me check that out. After this 3rd and 1. Oh! All right, that was not very good tackling. All right, Broncos box score receiving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sure enough, that is spreading the wealth right there. That's pretty unusual, actually. That's very unusual. You don't get 10 guys involved that often. And there it is. The Kirk Cousins interception that I told you was probably going to come at some point in time. Cody Barton gets his hands on the ball for like the 4th time this year. As good as Kirk Cousins is, and as many touchdowns as he throws too many interceptions. That was just a flat-out brain fart right there. I'm not sure what the hell Kirk was looking at. I mean, pretty good coverage from Cody Barton, but terrible throw. Kirk's a smart QB. I don't know what he's looking at there, man. Broncos are in cruise control. This game is about to get real ugly. Justin Simmons made his return to Denver. Justin's got bad luck, man. Justin gets drafted by Denver in maybe the worst era of Denver Broncos history. Does nothing but play at a Pro Bowl level, be like Mr. Community Service. I mean, the amount of things that Justin Service did for this football field on and off the team is insane. And quite frankly, his resume screams Ring of Fame. I mean, multiple Pro Bowler, multiple All-Pros, played, how many years was it? 8 or 9 years here in Denver, and was the best safety in the NFL for at least 3 or 4 years of that tenure. But when his career is all said and done, the sad reality is Justin Simmons will more or less be forgotten in 10 or 15 years. And that sucks, man, because the dude was phenomenal, but the team just had no success. And so he gets drafted in the worst tenure, and then they cut him right before the first year that the Broncos are finally having success. That's just bad luck for that dude, man. Justin was on the street for a long time during free agency this year. He didn't get picked up until the season was already rolling. Gosh, dang it. My cute little dog is throwing up. Gosh, dang it. Why is he doing that? Dang, 11 turnovers for Kirk. That is a lot. And you get a short field out of it. Not only did you get the turnover, but you get a short field. All right, so here's how things are going to unfold now. You're beating the brains out of the Atlanta Falcons. Next week, it's next week's Raiders? Next week's the Raiders, right? Yeah, next week you go up against the Raiders, okay? So you beat the Falcons. You should blow out the Raiders. Then you got the Browns, who are always a weird team, okay? Anytime Jameis Winston is at the helm, I'm going to be a little bit concerned. But look, the Broncos should beat the Browns' brains in also, okay? So you should be on a 3-game winning streak. Follow that up against the Colts. And the Colts put Anthony Richardson back at the helm. Let's see. What did the Colts do? Okay, Colts beat the Jets today, 28-7. And let's see the box score. How did Anthony Richardson do? Dang, Anthony Richardson had a decent game. I mean, not a whole lot of yards, but Anthony Richardson went 22 of 29 for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. No interceptions. So the dude comes off the bench and kind of redeems himself. I mean, look, the Jets are absolute bottom feeders in the NFL, so it's not exactly an impressive win, but I would say that's an impressive rebound. But anyways, getting back to the Broncos. So Broncos should win 3 straight, Falcons, Raiders, Browns, followed up against the Colts. That should be your 4th victory. Now you got 9 wins, all right? And you got 3 games to go. I mean, will the Broncos win the next 4 games? I don't know, but on paper, it screams that they absolutely should. So you got 4 wins, you got 9 wins. Back when I was playing in a 16-game schedule, 9 wins was, generally speaking, good enough to get you into the playoffs. Some years it would not, some years it would. Nowadays, you pretty much got to get to 10 wins if you want to guarantee yourself as a playoff contender. So you'll have 9 wins with 3 games left. You got the Chargers, you got the Bengals, you got the Chiefs. Broncos fans might be one to actually cross your fingers and hope and pray that the Chiefs continue to be undefeated, or at the very least that they've got the number 1 seed locked up, as painful as that is. And I know we never want to root for the Chiefs, but if they got the number 1 seed locked up, well, now in week 17, they probably don't even play their starters. So you got to find 1 win between the Chargers, the Bengals, and the Chiefs. Can you beat the Chargers out in LA? You can, but they're scary. They worry me. Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh are starting to figure things out, although I have no clue what they're doing today. Oh, they play tonight. That's right. They play the Bengals tonight. They've been starting to click, though. That's not a game that I want to count on. Chargers on a 3-game winning streak right now. They beat it was 3 terrible teams, but they beat the Titans, they beat the Browns, they beat the Saints. They lost the week before that to an interesting Cardinals team. Kyler Murray's playing pretty good football this year. I'm definitely not a Kyler Murray fan, but I got to admit he's playing pretty good ball this year. So it feels pretty damn good, right? That's why this game was so important. You beat the Falcons, and the playoffs are very, very real. If you would have lost to the Falcons, it gets really, really tough. Now all you got to do is handle your business. Easier said than done. Mike Shanahan used to tell us you got to win at home, you got to split on the road if you want to be a playoff team, right? So you got to win all your home games, and then you got to split half your games on the road. If you drop a game at home, well, now you got to pick up a game on the road. Estime, not the most athletic running back in the world, decides, hey, I'm going to hurdle somebody right now. That's a risky move for him. I think his vertical might be about 20 inches, but he got up high enough. Put the family jewels at risk. That's every running back's dream, to be able to hurdle somebody. I believe that is only Audric Estime's 2nd carry of the game. Or catch. 2nd touch of the game, I should say. What was the personal foul? What happened? Oh, yeah. All right, so here's the deal there. Anytime your defender falls on the ground, if you fall with them, you're going to be okay. You're never going to get a personal foul if you fall with them. But if the dude's already on the ground and then you jump on top of him, they're probably going to throw the flag. Gosh dang it. Look at that dart. Nice catch from Cortland. Man, I got to. Where are we at now for Bo? $23 of 28 for 238. 3 tutties. Nate Lamont, go Buffs. I don't even think Nate Lamont was. I think he went undrafted. And he earned that starting role about halfway into his rookie season. Great Colorado Buffalo right there. You know, obviously the field goal was a huge gaffe last week, but the Broncos special teams has been tremendous this year. Name another bad moment from the Broncos special teams this year. I'll wait because you can't. The weird deal after the game last week. Westhoff, long time NFL veteran coach, steps away from the team, cites health concerns. Hard to not think that had something to do with the blocked field goal. Anytime you got two coaches in one room, though, it's a tricky situation. There's got to be the guy, right? And Ben Kotwika was the guy. Ben Kotwika is the special teams coach, but you had Westhoff in there as this special teams czar that is just kind of hovering. And then, the czar, I've been around these situations, and it's just weird. The czar walks around, and they start giving coaching points. And as a player, you're like, all right, well, who do I listen to? Do I listen to the czar, Westhoff, who is definitely Sean Payton's guy, or do I listen to the head special teams coach, which is Ben Kotwika? Westhoff is definitely Sean Payton's guy, but it's probably a more healthy setup without him in the room. Oh, Kirk almost dropped that ball. Throw the football. What is he doing? Not only does he throw it, he ends up getting a completion, but there are like 5 flags in the backfield. Now we've got 2 flags on the tackle. I think the Broncos are going to get called on both of these. Actually, it's probably holding in the backfield. What did they call? Did Surtain face mask him, or what happened there? Speaking of the Buffs, how about them Buffs? Yeah, buddy. Charlie, I never can get his name right, dang it. Charlie Offidal, the walk-on running back for the Buffs, got his first touchdown in the game yesterday. That was cool to see for that young man. Team was fired up for him. Oh, dang it. I was talking over it, and I didn't hear what the referee said there. Someone tell me what were the actual flags? I didn't hear the ref. Okay, well, now I see it. That is an extreme face mask. That's getting called every time. What was the first one, though? What were the flags in the backfield? Broncos have done a good job of containing Bijan in this game. Bijan's got 11 carries, and he's got 12 carries, but he's only got 35 yards. He's been having a fantastic season. Illegal shift, that's what it was? Falcons are crumbling right now. They got lucky. Kirk should have dropped that one snap. God, we got like 12 flags coming down again. Oh, I'm sorry. I went over to my TV. That's another play behind. I'm watching on my computer and my TV right now. Falcons go to the same bubble screen the Broncos have already called at least 4 times in this game, and nice little pickup for the Falcons. But they're still 3rd and 7, so another great opportunity to get off the field for the Broncos. Sack City, baby. Jonah Ellis, welcome to the club, pal. Broncos got pass rushers growing off trees right now, which is why they were able to trade away Baron Browning. I know there's some fans out there that were disappointed that the Broncos traded Baron Browning. Look, they made a decision in advance because they got so many pass rushers. They were not going to give Baron another contract, so they traded him away while they could and got reasonable value for him. But man, you've got so many pass rushers. Nick Benito has been phenomenal. Jonathan Cooper has been phenomenal. And you end up giving Jonathan Cooper that new deal. Jonathan Cooper's new deal is paying him a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It's a deal that he's going to be fired up for because he was a 6th or 7th round draft pick. But if you look at the annual average for Jonathan Cooper's new deal, it's going to pay him about $13 million per year. And it puts him as like the 15th or 16th highest paid pass rusher in the NFL, which is very appropriate. So a very solid deal for him. But by giving it to him in the middle of the year, they're able to get a very team-friendly deal for him. Had they waited for Jonathan Cooper to get to free agency, that number legit could have doubled. If he made it all the way to free agency, and if he were to continue the amount of sacks he's been having, they might have to pay him over $100 million to keep him. So they got ahead of things. Broncos are starting to spread the wealth here a little bit on offense because they've got the luxury of doing that. Getting Audric Estime some more carries. Now you got Jaleel McLaughlin getting a few more carries. Well, not a lot for Jaleel, though. Look at that throw. That is so phenomenal from Bo Nix right there. That is so phenomenal. Look, it's an RPO, okay? Bo ends up keeping it. It looked like he was trying to run the football, quite frankly. Doesn't see anything there. gets off schedule, he starts pump faking. Anytime you see a quarterback pump faking, that's generally speaking when interceptions happen because we're off schedule, our feet are not planted. Bo buys some time, extends the pocket, throws a beautiful little touch pass to Cortland Sutton. That is good stuff, dude. Really good stuff from Bo Nix. When it clicks, man. And everything is clicking right now. Broncos got their guy. How about that? Denver Broncos got their guy. All right. I've been waiting. The Denver Broncos got their freaking quarterback. And this is fun. This is exciting. I don't know if Bo Nix is going to be an elite quarterback or not. It always comes down to who do you surround him with. That's true for Brock Purdy, but that's true for Josh Allen also. It's true for every quarterback. It's always about who you surround him with. But you look at the yards after catch that you're getting in this game, and now Bo goes from looking good to looking great, simply because his wide receivers are getting yards after catch. So in the offseason, you start adding in a few more weapons, and I've never felt more confident than I do right now. The Broncos have got a bright future in Bo Nix. The thing that impresses me the most for Bo, it's got to be just the confidence, right? To weather the storm. And he's had some storms now. But I don't think Bo Nix is, he hasn't broke yet. And that's tough to do as a young QB. As a young player in the NFL, man, I struggled with that. When I went to Seattle, I was at my lowest point in my career, okay? I'd been playing for Josh McDaniels for the last 2 years. Life was miserable. Josh had beat me down so bad. I mean, he legitimately made me believe that I was a bad football player. My confidence had never been lower when I got traded to Seattle. All of a sudden, I get out to Seattle. The coaches believe in me. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Tom Cable, my offensive line coach, pulls me to the side. And this is the tie back to Bo Nix with his confidence, right? Tom Cable pulls me to the side after I've got a bad play in practice and it turned into 3 bad plays. And he says, Tyler, what's the difference between you and Russell Okung? Russell was their young tackle. They just drafted like number 10 overall or whatever he was. I was like, I don't know. He's probably better than me. He's like, no. The only difference between Russell Okung and you is that he's got the ability to flush a bad play. And you let one bad play turn into 3 bad plays. You've got every bit of talent that dude's got. But right now, mentally, you are letting a bad play spiral. And that was a turning point for me. And it took me some time to figure it out, to get that confidence, to not let one bad play spiral into 3 or 4 bad plays. But that was what impresses me the most about Bo Nix, is that I wasn't alone as a young football player and letting that happen to me. That happens to the majority of young football players. Bo Nix seems to have the right mindset, the right mentality to let bad things happen and not let it affect his confidence. It's impressive stuff. Really impressive. All right, end of the third quarter. I need to update my scoreboard over here. Going into the fourth. I had a good feeling about this game. I didn't have this good of a feeling, though. I think my prediction was 24-17, if I remember correctly. Look at the pockets the Bo's getting, man. Good hard sell off the play action. Every offensive line loves playing in play action. No offensive lineman wants to drop back all day long. But they've been giving him 3-4 seconds all the time. Tough to not find a open wide receiver, and you got 4 seconds back there. Man, apparently they are playing makeup right now with Audric Estime. Because it really doesn't make it. There's no reason to not let Jaleel continue to get carries. He's been absolutely phenomenal in this game. But Audric got like 0 carries in the first half while he got a carry. And now they're making up for it in the second half. But this is what you get to do when you get a big lead in the second half. You get to get the younger players more playing time. All right, quick straw poll here. I'm genuinely curious. Kurt, I see your question there, Ben Powers. I'll answer it here in 1 second. Quick straw poll. Engage with me here, all right? Legitimately curious on everybody's opinion on these uniforms. I like them. I see some people out there not hating them. Send it in. Send in a comment whether you're watching on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook right now. Yes or no? You like the are you in on the uniforms? To answer your question, Kurt, about Ben Powers. He's rock solid. Is he elite? No, he's not elite, but he's a rock solid football player. He leaves a little bit to be desired in the running game at times. You know, he's big, he's heavy, but he plays heavy. Sometimes he won't run his feet in the running game, so there's a lot of stalemates. You look at what Quinn Miners does, for example, in the running game, and Quinn is probably the best guard in the NFL in the running game. That's not hyperbole. I legitimately think that Quinn Miners is the best run-blocking guard in the NFL. And what makes him so good is the point of attack. He rolls his hips, he gets engaged, and then he runs his feet. Whereas Ben Powers at times, he'll settle for the stalemate. But it's never a bad block, right? NFL's a got-man league, and 9 out of 10 times, Ben Power got man. Got the job done. It's just not as dominant as it looks for Quinn Miners. The big decision the Broncos got to make here is going to be on Garrett Bowles, though. Bowlesy is up on his contract at the end of the season. Generally speaking, if you have adequate left tackle play in the NFL, you don't let go of it. And Bowles' career has been a bit of a roller coaster, for sure. And unfortunately, this year we're having some flashbacks to all the holding 72s, and we've had a few more of those than I'd like to see. But Bowles is an adequate left tackle. It's probably the best way I could describe it. He's not elite. He's far from a problem. And he's pretty good, right? Not elite, pretty good. But it's going to be expensive. It's going to be really, really expensive to keep him. So I think it's an absolute coin flip on what the Broncos do with Bowles in the offseason. They could easily decide, nope, we're going to draft a young left tackle. We're going to start from scratch. And they would also be justified if they gave him a big contract, because it's scary to move on from adequate left tackle play. Oh, okay. So somebody asked, am I surprised that Forsyth is in on field goal? I've been watching and I've not noticed. Let me see if I'm going to rewind this thing. I'm going to rewind it and see where he was. All right, hold on. Well, I don't know if Forsyth is in there. He's not at the same spot. It looks like Matt Pert is now playing the left tight end position. So they've left him in on field goal, but they changed the positions. Here's the deal, and I know this is going to be more field goal information than anybody wants to know, but when you play the tight end position on field goal, it's the most thankless job on a football team. You're going to get run over 9 out of 10 times. But the thing about putting Forsyth at that position that I would question is that traditionally speaking, you want to put a guy with as much length as you can possibly get at that spot, okay? So it's going to be a backup tackle, even a starting tackle, or if you've got a huge tight end, you can put him in that spot. But you put in the big tackles with length because that's their job. They got to go iron crossed, they stick their arms out, they give up their chest, okay, and they get bowled over because they're trying to catch 3 guys at once with that iron cross. Forsyth is a center and a guard playing that role, does not have as much length as a guy like Matt Pert does. So they put Pert over there. They bump Forsyth inside. I've got empathy for the job, and I've got empathy for Forsyth because the dude was getting dragged for a bunch of clips that were floating around on the internet of him getting trucked. Well, I could find any team in the NFL, and I actually did this. You can go on my Twitter and you can find it. And you're going to see that tight end get trucked 9 out of 10 times. But he didn't get the job done against Kansas City. So they put, I think that's Pert they put in there. I couldn't see the number. I just saw the body type, and it looks like it was Matt Pert. Matt Pert is for sure a more typical body style that you put in at that position. Every single possession, the Falcons have got penalties. They get backed up. Something bad is happening to them. They're in shambles right now. They go to the same play. They just ran that bubble screen. A flag was called, and they go to the same play. Usually you change it up. Nick Benito gives off so many Von Miller vibes. The body type, the lean, the explosive start. He's got the ghost. There he is again. He's got a sack in every single game, right? Did he get a sack last game? No. Just pure speed going up against Jake Matthews, one of the better left tackles in the game. I played with Jake. I had a brief stint there in Atlanta. Played with Jake when he was a young player, and he has been a staple there. Been a great left tackle for him, and he did not stand a chance because I was just starting to talk about it. That's the get off that I was talking about that reminds you of Von Miller, right? When you've got a great get off, that is your best friend as a pass rusher. You get the tackle to open up. Once you get the tackle to open up, you get that two-way go. Now we get the short corner. We got the inside move if we want it, and we got the bull rush if we want it. But if you don't get the tackle to open up his shoulders, well, life is tough, right? But that get off that Nick Benito's got, that is what is making him so successful. Doesn't his body type just even remind you of Vaughn, though? How are those brownies coming? My daughters are in cooking mode right now. Made me a frappuccino earlier. Now they're making brownies. They like playing house. Nick Benito's got the most sacks, but I actually think Jonathan Cooper is a more well-rounded football player. Jonathan Cooper is better against the run. As a young player, Nick Benito was a flat-out liability in the run, and he's definitely not a liability anymore, but he's not quite as stout as I would prefer. Man, all of a sudden it feels like the Broncos have got a staple of running backs. Jalil's looking great. Javante's looking great. Audrek's looking great. It was just 2 weeks ago. It felt like we didn't have a running back on the team. Oh, I got to update my scoreboard. Dang it. Why don't you guys tell me? Score is updated 31-6. He won't win it because the team's not having enough success, but Sean Payton's having a borderline coach of the year type of season. This is like a Deion Sanders type of turnaround for the Broncos. Dan Quinn probably walks away with that thing. Who else? Maybe Dan Quinn. You know what? Maybe Dan Quinn should get coach of the year because the Lions were expected to be on top of the league. What's happening out there in the Commanders? That was not expected. Look at this. Look at this. Little Jordan Humphrey. He's been hearing us calling him out. He says, shut your face, everybody. I can play football too. Bo Nix is getting a dance. What is this little dance we got from Bo Nix? What is this? What are we doing? What is this? Is this planned? What is it? What is it? What are we doing? Fake 18, keep left, bootleg. Mike Shanahan, West Coast offense staple right there. Nobody wants to cover little Jordan Humphrey. Walks in untouched for a touchdown. 38-6. Broncos are dominating. And yes, I've updated the scoreboard already. Damn. Let's check back in on the box score here. Bo Nix, 28 of 33, 307 yards. How many touchdowns? Not one, not two, not three. Give me four of them things. And 0 interceptions. Damn. Best game of the year. It's not even close. It would be pretty tough to not believe in Bo Nix at this point. If you're still holding out, yeah, you're pretty much hating at this point. All right, let's check in on everybody else. Okay, Javonte Williams has not been getting as many carries in the second half, so it's kind of slowed down a little bit for him, but he's got 9 for 59. Jalil's all of a sudden got 4 for 19, and Audric Estebe's only got 7 yards off of 4 carries. So Audric has been the least productive of the bunch, although he did have a cool hurdle, so at least he's got a nice little highlight to walk away with after this game. In the passing game, though, this is what's been so impressive. You've got 4 guys with basically 50 yards or more. You've got Cortland Sutton, 7 for 78. Devon Vele's 4 for 66. Lil Jordan Humphreys, 4 for 52. And Marvin Mims has got 2 for 49. So I'm including Marvin Mims in that conversation at 49. But then you look at how the ball is getting distributed, and we are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still 10. The number is 10. 10 wide receivers have caught a pass in this game, or running backs, whatever. 10 bodies for the Denver Broncos have caught a pass. That is distributing the wealth right there. Oftentimes, when you see that many guys catch passes, it can mean that you don't have any real superstars on your team. Although I don't think that's the case in this game, because you could easily continue to force feed it to Cortland Sutton. You could easily force feed it to Vele. And shoot, even at this point, you might even be able to force feed it to little Jordan Humphrey. But Bo Nix is distributing the wealth, keeping everybody happy. Nobody gets to complain about not getting touches after this game. They just said on the broadcast that Bo Nix has now tied the Broncos rookie performance for 4 touchdowns in a game. We'll see if we can get him to 5 to break that. Dion would run the score up. They're showing these highlights from Bo, and what's making this thing work, it's the timing. It's getting the ball out when it's supposed to be out. It's making a confident decision and then putting some pop on that pass. You know, Bo has been questioned with his arm strength. His arm looks okay to me today. I think arm strength is overrated, though. Arm strength's it's like the bench press for offensive linemen. Everybody makes a huge deal out of the 225 at the combine for offensive linemen. How many times can you bench press 225, right? And you'll see guys that'll rep like 40. Well, they can't play football because they can't move. The pass fail on that is generally like 23, 24. I think I literally got 23, so I counted that as a pass for me. It doesn't really matter how much stronger you get. Yes, it can help, but it's pass fail. That's what arm strength is also. It's either you got enough or you don't. Are there windows that it helps? Yes. Oh, is this Michael Penix's debut? Is this the first time he's been on the field this season? Actually, this just gives me a reason to watch because I'm fascinated by Michael Penix. I was huge on him coming out of the draft. That was a nice little throw. Dude, that's a cannon, though. Okay. You look at how easy he threw that. That is a flick of the wrist. That is different than Bo Nix, okay? When Bo Nix has to throw it down the field, and I know, look, Bo's having a great game, so I'm not trying to dog the young man, but when Bo tries to throw the ball down the field, he has to redline it. Look at how easy this ball comes out. He's got to catch that. All right, I'm definitely fascinated by the end of this game now. Does anybody know, is this Michael Penix's debut? I think it is. I don't think he's played a single snap this year, has he? Michael was my favorite quarterback coming out of the draft. I mean, outside of Caleb. And yes, I realize that Caleb does not look good, but he was the best quarterback coming out. He was. And then it was dicey. Jaden Daniels has been phenomenal, and he's proven that he's actually the best quarterback in the draft. But at the time, my personal number 2 was Michael Penix. And a lot of people thought he would be a second or third rounder. When the Falcons moved up to go get him, that was a wild move. I mean, let's take a step back and remember what happened here. Falcons go out and get Kirk Cousins in the offseason, give him a monster deal because he's a quarterback and quarterbacks get monster deals. And then like 2 months later, they drafted Michael Penix in the top 10. It was kind of an insane move, but I really like it. If you've got the confidence and if you've got the trust of your owner to make a move like that, it's pretty nice to let a quarterback sit there and marinate and learn from a QB like Kirk. Obviously, Michael Penix is the future of that team. But I don't know if this has ever happened. I mean, certainly you've seen deals like Matt Flynn and Russell Wilson when Matt got a deal from the Seahawks, but that was nothing. I mean, it was decent money for Matt, but it wasn't like breaking the bank money. Kirk got like break the bank money. I don't think we've ever seen a guy get a big deal like Kirk got and then have a quarterback drafted in the top 10 in the same season. I just realized I did make one mistake on my scoreboard. The home team comes second. I got them first. That's my bad, yo. I'll learn. I'll get better next time. I do like Raheem Morris a lot, though. Been around him for a long time. Was with him in Washington. Was with him in Atlanta. He's got great energy to him. Players love him. He's played on both sides, coached on both sides of the ball. Obviously, he had a terrible first experience coaching, and it did not go well. But he's waited his turn, and I think he's going to do well in Atlanta. He had to wait a long time to get back in the saddle. See, that's what young quarterbacks do. This is Michael's real first action. That's a good looking pocket. No reason to panic. Just settle in there, climb up in the pocket, wait for someone to get open. The interesting part for the Falcons hiring Raheem Morris, they had Dan Quinn. Well, Raheem was on that staff, and they end up firing Dan Quinn, moving on from him. They go a different direction, and now they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have fired Dan. So they go and get one of his disciples. I guarantee you, Raheem is running that building the exact same way that Dan Quinn was. Man, Jonathan Franklin Myers is probably the least discussed member of the Broncos edge rushers slash inside defensive lineman group. And Broncos are insanely fortunate to get him. The Jets made the trade for Hassan Reddick, and then they're like, all right, well, we're going to trade for you, but we're not going to give you a new deal. Hassan Reddick ends up sitting out half the season. He's finally back in the building. But the Jets end up trading Jonathan Franklin Myers on the cheap to the Broncos because they're like, all right, well, we can't afford both these guys. So Broncos end up getting Jonathan Franklin Myers. And what you've got now, you've got edge rushers that can get after the quarterback. And you got 2 4 eyes, okay? The defensive ends at a 3-4 scheme. You've got 2 4 eyes that can also get after the quarterback. That is flashback to 2015 defense. This defense isn't as good as 2015, but that's what we had then. You had Derek Wolfe, you had Malik Jackson who get after the quarterback on the inside, and then you had Vaughn, you had D. Ware, you had Shane Ray, you had Shaq Barrett, all on the outside. But when you can get interior pressure, that's when you're going to go from being good to great as an edge or as a pass rushing group. Oh, we're breaking that thing. I'm telling you, this game was going to be the difference in making the playoffs or not. The Broncos are going to make the playoffs. If they won this game, they were going to get in. If they lost it, it was going to be really tough. The playoff streak will get broken this year. Now the Broncos put their backup quarterback in, Jarrett Stidham. And we've got a preseason football game going on. Backup quarterback on backup quarterback. I don't know why Zach Wilson's on this team, quite frankly. I thought they were keeping him so they might be able to trade him down the road. Well, that time is come and gone. We're past the trade deadline. Nobody wanted him, or at least they didn't want to give up anything of value that the Broncos would take for him. But carrying 3 quarterbacks when nobody is injured, it's pretty redundant. I personally would put Zach as the backup quarterback. That's what I would do. Personally, I would keep Zach and I would get rid of Jarrett. But there's no reason to carry 3. I guess, look, no harm, no foul. If you need an extra body, you can always cut him at any time, but seems pretty silly to me to carry 3. Michael Burton has to have the most touches of any fullback in the NFL this year. Fullbacks do not get as many carries as this guy gets. That play right there, that little fullback dive, it's not been very successful for the Broncos in the past. If you think about it, it's tough. You just don't get the momentum, right? Running backs, they got that downhill head start. Fullbacks get that ball, and then they got to get their feet running. They just don't have the same runway. That being said, I am an advocate of carrying a fullback. I know most people in today's NFL do not carry a fullback. I'm a huge fan of it because when you carry a fullback, what it does for you, it gives you call it and run it plays. So when I put a fullback on the field and I call 18 force, there's nothing a defense can do to check me out of this, right? It doesn't matter how many people come down in the box. I've got a hat for a hat, and you can't force me out of this. When you don't carry a fullback, you're in short yardage situations. Well, they can make you audible. They can make you kill the play, call timeouts, whatever, because they can overload it and you just don't have enough hats to block them. So I am a fan of carrying a fullback. I don't know if I'd give him as many touches as Michael Burton has had, but Whatever. Michael Penix is having a hard time just catching the football. All right, well, listen. This is a huge win for the Broncos. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. I'm going to wrap this thing up. This game is over. But let's just recap here a little bit before I get out of here. Bo Nix just had the best game of his career. And quite frankly, it could be a long time until he's got a game as efficient as this one. And that's not a shot at Bo. That's just how good this game was. 28 of 33, 307 yards, 4 touchdowns. Doesn't get any better than that in the NFL. You spread the wealth. You got every wide receiver involved. Everybody got touches. Javonte looks like he's back. He's running hard. That one touchdown he had has got to be a Kyle Brandt angry run. Defense was phenomenal. This matchup on paper had no statistical advantage for either team. It was another number 5 offense from the Falcons going up against the number 5 defense of the Broncos. The number 24 offense from the Broncos going up against the number 24 defense of the Atlanta Falcons. And this was an absolute butt kicking. So good for the Broncos at home. They get a huge win that now sets the stage. This paves the path for a relatively easy berth in the playoffs if you just handle your business against bad football teams. So the Broncos can't get ahead of themselves, but what I think this means, that game against Kansas City was a way bigger moral win for that team inside that locker room than even we could understand. That game for them justified we're ready to compete with the big dogs. Atlanta's not the big dogs, but they're not bottom feeders either. You've got 3 divisions in the NFL. You got the big leagues, you got bottom feeders, and then you got parity. And the Broncos and the Falcons are both in that parity league, in that division of just competitive football teams. And now you just beat a competitive football team. The Falcons are a competitive team, right? Not a great team, but a competitive team. So huge win for the Broncos. Could not got any better. I appreciate all you guys watching. I'm going to get back on later tonight. We'll do a recap video if you guys want to tune back in. Tuesday, I'll put out the all 22 Mount Columbus Speaks. We do get the coaches film. I get all the arrows, the lines, everything. We fancy it up, and you'll learn a lot of ball in that. So this will be a fun one to look at. I focus on the offense because, well, I like watching offensive football. So we'll watch the offense on Tuesdays. We'll do a breakdown a little bit later. If you've not subscribed to Mount Columbus Speaks on YouTube, please, will you do me a huge solid and head on over there and do that right now?